Hello and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to talk about SONNET biotherapeutics. The stock went up all the way up to 120%. Now we're going to talk about the catalyst that broke out the cost of stock to go as high as that, $2.70. It was trading around $1.24, right? It went so high that it sort of raised everything that happened in the last month. Basically, all the downward momentum that it had, it basically broke all that records and then just went all the way up to $2.70. And we're going to talk about that catalyst, and I'm going to go through their balance sheet as well as the cash flow and whatever the institutional holdings are for the stock, just to get an idea. If you're looking to invest in the stock, at least you have some idea what's going on with it. Is it a trade? Is it a gamble investment? What's happening with the stock, right? It's not going to be financial advice in any form. This is just going to be information. As you know, information is power, and I think that having information on everything usually is the best case scenario if you're looking to purchase something in the market, right? Let's talk about that. And if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. The objective is to get you guys information, right? This is the objective here. And it keeps me motivated if I see new subscribers and I feel like I'm helping more people. So let's talk about that, right? The catalyst that came out, they got into an agreement with a subsidiary, another pharmaceutical company, which is a subsidiary to Johnson & Johnson, which is a big brand regarding one of the drugs they're working on. And of course, this caught the eye for the investors. Like the investors are coming in hot. There were about 89 million stocks we were purchased. I'm going to talk about it in a second. These pharmaceutical stocks, the best thing is that they have usually have a pipeline, which means every time a pharmaceutical stock has a pipeline, they're working on some drug, moves a phase, the stock usually is a positive catalyst. All right, unless they say, you know what, our clinical trials were trash and we're no longer pursuing this drug, or whatever the case is a failure. Then of course the shift is going to be the other way around. But usually when there's a phase shift, the stocks usually tend to move up. Any pharmaceutical stock that has a pipeline. Market cap is about 10.72 million. Not a large company, small company. On a 52-week range, the lowest it got to is $1.10, and the highest it got to is $9.66. On an average, the stock was only trading 341,000, and now today they traded about 89 million, so which is a large number. EPS is negative 60, which means the earnings per share is negative. There's no P ratio available for this. And of course, if you're investing with the negative EPS or negative P ratio, for example, which means you are betting at that point, so you got to be careful with those stocks. And of course, to me, those stocks are usually a trade, which means that if I'm looking, the stock is surging, I'll probably get into the trend and just come out of it whenever I see the stock started coming down, or the levels that whatever my profit levels are. As far as the balance sheet is concerned, it says 28,000, but you got to times it with 1,000, so it's 28,994,000. For total assets, total liabilities about 6.7 million. Stockholders' equity is about 22 million. Again, that's not a very large company. Operating cash flow is negative 22, which means they're not profitable right now. Investing cash flow is 875 million, which means that sometimes the investing cash flow is like if you're buying other companies or others warrant stocks, things like that. If you're investing money, this is where it goes. So it's negative 875 million. Cash position is 5.2, which means they do have $5.2 million in hand for cash, which is a good thing. If you have a preferred stock, you have some liquidation there. So increased, again, this is the institutional holdings. Institutional ownership is about 5.76%. There were a lot more decreased than increased. 206,000 decreased positions and 29,000 were gained. Of course, I'm pretty sure this is going to change as well, because you have 89 million stocks were bought, and we're going to see how this is closed today. The stock started rising today. Now it started coming down, and I think it's going to go down to the levels, probably 168, 170 or so forth. If you see on a daily chart, there's a long wick here, which means the bulls came in, and then now it's, the bears came out, and they, they started selling, and this what happened. The stock started coming down. I think it's going to come down now. There's no potential here for the stock. It's not like, to me, this was more of a trade. Whatever you see here, this is more of a trade. RSI is already started coming down. RSI was like relative strength index, which means that how much pressure there is to buy the stock. It was above 70, which is great, but then it started showing weakness. Now it started coming down. Now it has to again. For me, MACD's also started tilting down. So for me, in all, the situation is this, right? You got to keep this on your watch list. The stock has started coming down now. There's no point of getting into the position at this point, because essentially it's coming down, and I think it's going to come down. The backup is because there's no fundamentals that would support it. It's going to be a trend. Let's say, for example, you have somebody shorting the stock, and you have a guy comes in and he buys like 1 million shares, and you have the price bump. The person who's shorting it might buy the stock and cause the price to go even higher. If that happens, we call it a short squeeze. If that happens, yeah, that can potentially raise the price a little bit, but the stock is definitely going to come down now. There's no momentum here. There's nothing left from the stock. This is basically now at this point, just profit taking is going to happen. And essentially it's going to come down to 170, 160, or even go down to 134, which you know, right? So for me, it's no go right now. I'm not looking to invest in the stock right now, even though it's not an investment in my opinion. It's more of a trade. So I'm keeping this on my watch list for now, at least, you know, for the pipeline, etc. And I'm going to read up and see if there's something comes up. And of course, I'll make more videos about it, see if something that, you know, I should bring to your attention. But for now, you know, it's not a trade for me. It's not a day trade. It's nothing for me right now. Hope you liked this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.